Good afternoon from the summit of Lion's Head overlooking Cape Town, South Africa. Today, we're flying with South African Airways, an airline that's been riddled with financial trauma and more than a few struggles in recent years. Today, I'm traveling with them from Cape Town to Johannesburg, a key route linking the two most populous South African cities, and shortening travel time between the two from 14 to a mere 2 hours. Join me as I test out their business class product on that route. And not just their business class product, their wide-body business class product as I hop on an Airbus A330 just in from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hop on board with me today as I fly with South African Airways in search of linking adventures. A late afternoon departure time has me at the Cape Town International Airport after an afternoon of walking around this awe-inspiring city. As a business class passenger, there is a dedicated check-in line which made for a smooth check-in process. However, I will note that despite having a dedicated check-in line, at the time when I checked in, there were no staff working the business class line, so I waited for an agent to finish up with helping a passenger in the other line before I could check in. Even with that small delay, within a few minutes I was checked in, through security, and on a mission to make my way to the South African Airways lounge in the domestic terminal airside. After a small amount of confusion with finding this lounge, I found my way to a hidden elevator and found the lounge located right above where I had checked in some 15 minutes earlier. I have to say that as far as the domestic lounge goes, this lounge was very spacious and open. There were ample seating options and it had a light, airy feel due to plenty of natural light from the giant windows overlooking the tarmac. This lounge is one of those lounges that is an absolute avgeek's dream, with incredible views perched high above the runway. I found a seat with an ottoman right in front of the window and helped myself to the signature cocktail at the bar, the Diamond Dash, a gin cocktail with lime juice, fresh blackberries, and mint. It was a refreshing way to kick back, relax, and take in the tarmac views before boarding my flight. As I sat there admiring the sweeping views of the tarmac, I was able to see my plane touch down and taxi to a stand right in front of me. Since it was about 30 minutes before my now delayed boarding time, this was a sign to me that it might be time to start making my way towards the gate. We just finished up in the lounge. I'm going to make my way to my gate. My flight's been delayed by about 15 minutes. It says it's at gate C11. I'm not entirely sure where that is, so we're going to start making our way over there to see if we can find it. Walking towards my gate, it is exactly as I suspected. It's going to be at a bus gate, so we did get to see that plane board across the way. Now we're going to have to go ahead and board on a bus and make our way over. I think I speak for just about everyone when I talk about how much I loathe boarding via a bus gate. Nothing lessens the premium feel of a flight than being herded onto a hot bus and corralled for minutes on end before the bus finally moves. Then once arriving at the plane, the experience is lessened even further by a mad stampede to the air stairs. The one positive of a bus gate boarding, I will say, is that the few minutes spent on the stairs waiting for people to funnel onto the plane affords me plenty of time to ogle at the engines and the sheer size of this plane. Eventually, it was my turn to step on board the plane, and I was ushered to the left and off to my seat. The seats in the business class cabin of this South African Airways Airbus A330 are arranged in a 1-2-1 configuration. On the port and starboard side of the aircraft, there are single seats. The odd-numbered seats are closer to the aisle and offer significantly less privacy, whereas the even-numbered seats are true window seats and are very private since the console and a small divider blocks them almost entirely from being visible from the aisle in flat mode. The center seats are positioned together but have a little bit of space provided due to the footwell. This is great for you if you want a little bit of distance from your travel companion, but if you're looking for a bit more personal option, this ain't it. There are a total of 46 business class seats, with 30 of these seats in the forward cabin and another 16 business class seats in a smaller rear cabin. It is worth noting that the bassinet seats for infants are located near the bulkhead seats 1A, 1D, or 9G and 9K, and also in row 45 behind the aft business class cabin. Passengers who wish to distance themselves from this should choose a seat near the middle or the back of the forward business cabin. My seat for this flight was exactly there at seat 8 Kilo. The seats chosen by South African Airways seem to be very private. The footwell and the side wing near the head of each of the seats offer quite a bit of privacy. However, as I said before, the even seats are the only ones with the footwell in between the seat and the aisle. The odd-numbered seats are quite a bit more exposed. The position of my seat in the back of the forward cabin offered my seat an additional feel of privacy since I was behind all of the other passengers. The only thing across the aisle from my seat was a cabin for storing additional materials or catering for the flight. I will note that while the proximity to the galley and the seat didn't bother me, the flight crew were constantly accessing the cabinet directly across the aisle from me, and that did cause a bit of a disturbance, which is worth noting. These seats offer a massive amount of legroom. At my height of 6'2" or 188 centimeters, I had plenty of room to stretch my feet all the way out without any obstructions to knee or foot room. It is worth noting here that the seats in the front row, seats 1A, D, G, and K, have significantly more room in the footbox since there is no seat in front of them. As far as shoulder space goes, my seat also had more than enough space for my shoulders. The seat is about 21 inches or 53 centimeters wide as I measured it. It had more than enough space for my broad 24-inch or 61 centimeter wide shoulders. To the aisle side of my seat, there was a small storage compartment for storing a pair of headphones, as well as a reading light next to that compartment. The storage compartment also featured a plug and a USB outlet for charging devices, and there was plenty of room for storing them as well. On the right side of the seat, there is an adjustable armrest which can be lowered for extra width in lie-flat mode, and the seat controls to recline the seat are located on the console to the left of the seat, easily in reach in both the upright and the lie-flat position. Unfortunately for me this afternoon, South African Airways chose not to have any individual air vents in this cabin, since I certainly needed them to cool off following the long wait on the bus to get on the plane. So we're seated now. Just got into my seat. First impression is the seat is very nice. It's a little warm for wear. A couple nicks here or there. The seat is unfortunately a tan color, which does show any bit of dirt, and it did seem to be a bit of a quick turnaround from Buenos Aires flight to the flights going out to Cape Town. So kudos to the flight crew and the ground crew for being able to turn around the flight so quickly. However, it does show like the plane had just come off a long flight. So we're getting situated for takeoff, and I'll let you know all the details once we're in the air. Following a short safety demonstration, we finally pushed back from the stand, taxied past rows and rows of planes from all around the globe, and made our way out to the runway. Before long, we were off into the afternoon skies, first to the west over the ocean, then the plane banked towards the east and towards our destination in Johannesburg. With the plane finally in the air, it was time to relax for a bit, so I reclined my seat for a short 2-hour flight to Johannesburg. As I relaxed in my seat, I took some time to browse the in-flight entertainment system using the remote controller located inside the console to the left of my seat. Here, not only will you find the system controller, but also a mirror so you can admire your disheveled look after hours of sleeping in the seat on longer flights. I found that the entertainment system itself was very responsive and the screen crystal clear. Not only does the system have a good selection of movies and TV shows to watch, it also has information on South African Airways and the destinations it serves, so you as a passenger can get some last-minute destination planning in. As I sat fully encompassed in the views out the window, flight crew came around with the beverage service, which was nice because there wasn't anything offered prior to departure in Cape Town. Despite this being only a 2-hour flight, a meal was served, and I was offered a steak dish with potatoes and corn. Though, from the looks of it, it really isn't all that appealing, but it did taste alright. Though since I really wasn't expecting a meal service on this flight, maybe South African Airways shouldn't have served it, since it really wasn't all that great, and certainly brings down the premium feel offered by their hard product on this flight. With this being such a short flight, I really wasn't all that tired, though I thought I'd recline the seat just a little bit to show off the seat in the lie-flat position for this video. Even in the lie-flat position, this seat was wide enough for me to lie down on my back since the seat is offset from the console by a few inches. As far as footroom goes, there was plenty of room for me to move my feet around. Despite not being initially tired, as I laid there, the seat was so comfortable that I drifted off to sleep for about a half an hour before the cabin crew started to clean the cabin in preparation for arrival. Before being corralled into my seat for the duration of the flight, I decided to check out the lavatories in this cabin, which I learned really didn't have anything special to offer. Inside, the mirror was cracked, the floor wasn't exactly clean, and the trash was very full. The lavatory was also tight to move around, but for a short flight it was fine. Were I on a longer flight, I can only imagine how dirty this lavatory might get. In all, I enjoyed my experience with South African Airways on today's flight. With this being such a short flight, I understand that I might not have seen the plane in its element as I would have on a longer flight. While I love the hard product offered in this cabin, I found that the crew on this flight weren't exactly the most attentive, and that certainly took away from the product. All things considered, the crew was fine and the seat was very comfortable. While certainly not the most premium flight I've ever been on, I'd certainly fly with South African Airways again, and I would be very interested in flying their longer flight in from Sao Paulo. Once again, thanks for coming along with me on today's journey. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe so that I can continue to grow the channel and bring you more content just like this. Until I see you next time, I hope you have a stellar time in the skies. That's all for now. Until next time, so long.